Originally, okay, so I'm from Parker, and then I kind of bounced around. I lived near Hartford for a while. I actually went to West Central my senior year, but yeah, and then I've worked in Sioux Falls ever since. I work at Metro Communications as a 911 dispatcher. I've been at Metro as a dispatcher for 6 years, and then before that, I was at the jail as a door operator, basically. Definitely helping people. It's really nice to provide that service to the community, and it's bittersweet because I'm always talking to people on potentially what's their worst day, but helping people with medical situations is fulfilling. Well, it wasn't really me that was part of it, but just recently we had someone get a cardiac save, I think it was. So basically, if someone needs CPR, we provide those instructions over the phone, and this guy was able to do that. The patient survived, thank God, and then he wanted to meet everyone involved, so he met like with the firefighters and officers that were on scene there, but he also came into the center, and so that dispatcher got to meet their, patient face to face, and so just seeing that is really cool, and it reminds you that you do make a difference. So, well, I was always kind of semi-interested in it, but a coworker of mine that I get along with pretty well, it was his hobby, and he's a little bit older than me, and he had been doing it for a while, so I just kind of tagged along with him a couple of times, and then I've been going ever since. So I started at Gary's the first couple of times, but and then once I started coming here, I've came here ever since. For whatever reason, I just like it better. Yeah. I really like the staff here. They're super helpful, and I don't feel like an inconvenience. Like every time I come, they're like doing everything they can to help me out. They're like grabbing targets off the rack or whatever. And since I've been coming myself, the staff always hangs my targets for me, which is super nice. And they open the doors for me and everything. So yeah, it's like, I think just the welcoming environment probably is what keeps like drawing me back to here, essentially. So yeah. So the biggest thing for me when I started coming on my own, because I didn't want to make my buddy or any of my buddies come with me every single time, So I think I was a little bit nervous about not being able to hang the target up. That was pretty much like the biggest thing. I didn't want to be in there struggling, and I also didn't want to have to interrupt another person at the range and like tap them, on the shoulder when they have their ears on and can't hear anything. Be like, hey, can you hang this up for me? So I finally was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and ask them if they can hang the target up for me. And it was not a big deal at all. They were like, made me feel super, again, welcome. And so now I come all the time and I ask them, and there hasn't been a single person that, I think even they may have just offered it up to me, I think maybe even one day, and I was like, oh, that's nice, I'm just gonna ask them to do that. So yeah, absolutely, yes, 100%. And I have thought about that in like because now I'm pretty mobile, like I drive myself, not and everything, but not everyone is fortunate to be able to do that. But even the benches at the gun range, they're always saying like, we can move that out of the way for you. So like if someone was in a like lower seating position, and that bench might be in your way, they can absolutely move that for you, and they do offer it to me. I fortunately like am perched up high enough where it's not a problem, and I actually like having the bench there to lay out like my tool set and ammo and all that stuff. So But it is nice to know that that's an option, and they absolutely go out of their way to let you know everything that they can do to make it more convenient for you. So, yeah, it a gun range is, from what I've experienced, essentially they're all kind of pretty similar. But this gun range just seems like newer. It's really well kept too. One thing that does happen is when there's casings all over the ground and stuff, like if you're in a chair, your wheels will hit them and it's kind of like it'll stop you. But every time I go there, the floor is like nice and clean. It's clean and like well maintained. So yeah. And then there's like they have the bench with like if you're into rifles, that they have the stand that you can set it on. So everything that I would need, and I'm not like the most experienced, but everything that I would need is there, and it's super easy to use. I mean, it's kind of general, but honestly, just to make the most of your days when you're younger, like even everything you do, whether it's a hobby or um, school or whatever, and even just whatever you like to do in your free time, just make the most of it. Because I'm only 35, but I'm already kind of like look back on those days, and you see them a lot differently as time goes on, and how precious that time was, even with like your friends and family and stuff. So I guess my general advice would be just to make the most of each day, and um, find things you're passionate about doing, and really, take the time to do them. People, it seems like in Sioux Falls especially, are just more I don't know. Everyone wants to help. Like if I'm ever going to a door, it's very rarely does a person not open it for me, and um, that is one thing that I've kind of looked on, and I don't know if this is true or not, but for people in wheelchairs, I would say if people want to help you, don't let your pride get in the way. Let them help you, because it might do something for that person. It might make them feel good, to be able to help you. And really, I mean, there's no shame in that. Just let them open the door for you. But people ask me a lot too about like pretty much anything I'm doing. Like, are you good? And they're always trying to help, which I love. So yeah, and I let them help me all the time. Yeah. Yeah. One thing I guess I would say is like that was kind of another thing I was nervous about when I was new, and I still consider myself new, but is like gun range etiquette. Um, I would say don't let your pride get in the way. It's better to ask if you don't know, like, am I like what am I supposed to do or whatever. Like, what are the safety parameters that I should be following? But I would say that it is kind of an intimidating hobby, especially if you're starting fresh. And like me, no one in my family, I didn't have anyone to really like teach me gun etiquette. I just like pretty much watched a lot of YouTube, and luckily I had a buddy who had been going a while. But that would be like my pro tip is if you don't know, definitely ask. Even if you feel like it's a silly question, just ask them, because like I said here, especially the staff is like more than willing to help out. That's been my experience. So